Hello, everyone. I'm Ruth Ellen Elinski, and welcome to the Rural Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. This is an interview series with your hosts, Scott Hathcock, who's here with me, CEO of Moonshot, and me, the program director for the Yavapai College Small Business Development Center, showcasing the winners of the 2025 Moonshot Rural AZ Pitch Tour. And this is our second year hosting these interviews with the winners from across the state. How are you today, Scott?
I'm doing well. Thank you for thank you for collaborating and doing this with us. We always appreciate you guys. SBDC, we love. And I think we're on our 13th stop if you look at our total of 20. So this will be our first interview, and I'm excited to jump in and remember some of the winners that we've already seen and we'll be seeing again come Prescott on October 18th. For our pitch finals.
That's right. I'm excited to do this with Moonshot again this year. Always great conversations, and it's just fun to revisit. So, like you said, you're more than halfway through the tour. You said 13. So, what this series kind of includes for those that haven't joined us before, these are individual interviews with this year's Moonshot tour winners from each of the different communities across the state. These are some of Arizona's new and emerging entrepreneurs, and we get to hear a little bit more about their stories, their challenges, and best of all, what's next for them as they set new goals and continue on their path of entrepreneurship. So why don't you talk a little bit about who we're interviewing today, Scott?
So, unfortunately, you went out a little bit on that one. I couldn't hear what you just asked.
Oh, that's okay. I said, do you want to share a little bit about who we're visiting with today? Michael Lindsey, the owner of Hometown Fresh Farm, and he is from St. John's, Arizona.
Yes, and it's been an interesting. Let's bring him on in. By the way, let's bring Michael in because it's interesting this year. Michael, welcome again. The interesting thing is we've seen a little bit of an uptake this year in the possibility of answering the food desert problem that Arizona has. And so I want to dive into that specifically as well around the financing in the world that the bank and the lack of lending, I guess, that's available for this particular sector, because I think you guys are trying to solve a major problem for Arizona. Mm-hmm. So, but before I get into the weeds of that, let's talk about what it is you're doing and tell us about your company.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott, for having me and Ruth Ellen as well. This has been a great opportunity for me to kind of, share my idea with this business. And so what we're trying to do is to grow fresh, healthy food in rural Arizona for rural Arizona. A lot of the time with the farming model today is food is grown in rural locations, it's shipped to cities, and then it's redistributed back to rural locations a lot of the time. And then you run into food that doesn't ship well, that starts to lose its nutrient density as soon as it's cut and harvested. And so what we want to do is focus on some of those crops, the leafy greens, the herbs, the salad mixes, some of those crops that have a short shelf life after harvest, have a high demand and essentially a high margin as well. These are crops that somebody could stay in their small town and work as a business and earn essentially a tech income that a city that you could earn in a city as an engineer. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And how long ago was it that you joined our tour? It was maybe 3 months ago or 4 months ago, right? Okay.
Yeah, it was about the middle of June. Is when you came to St. John's and I got to the pitch. Yeah.
And right now, would you say this is a side hustle, but you would ideally like to see this really blown up
Yeah, that's exactly right. I honestly, for the last 10 years, I've struggled with this concept of how can I abandon my salary and start farming and maintain my family, right? Mm-hmm. And I haven't done it for a decade for that exact reason. And so I finally, in order to this, I feel like this is a calling that just won't go away. As much as I've tried to put it away, it just keeps coming back and keeps coming back. So I've figured out a model that I can do on the side. I can hire some folks here locally to kind of handle some of that day to day and I can manage it while maintaining my remote income that I have for, until I can focus on it full time, because if I can focus on it full time, it's going to be that much better, right? So that is the end goal, but it's not the primary goal with getting started.
Yeah. So I remember. Just really fast. If I remember correctly, you have some startup costs associated with the immediate, not greenhouse, but whatever could tell us about that immediate, what that immediate package is, if you will.
Mm-hmm. So when I pitched this, when I pitched this in June, I essentially pitched what the end goal would be for this business. That is a fully automated year-round greenhouse. That is automated temperature. That's automated nutrient. That's essentially everything is automated, right? And then the type of one of the main issues with hydroponic farming over, let's say, market gardening, I would consider what I'm trying to do hydroponically at the same scale as maybe a 1 or 2 acre market garden would be. A market garden, you can get into that for very cheap, and you're gonna labor a lot, right? And you're gonna put in a lot of time, which is why a lot of people don't like to farm. There have been a lot of innovators in the last 10 years that have kind of made that a little bit more efficient, but it still wasn't something that an established person with a career and with a family could do on the side and actually have going. And that's where the hydroponics comes in, because there's a certain level of automation and there's a lot more control over the environment and the means to grow. You have a lot more flexibility is what it comes down to. So I'm not relying. We had almost no water all winter long. We were promised a big monsoon here in my area, and we've gotten like 2 rainstorms,
Wow.
Instead of 1 every afternoon, kind of like we were expecting. So that's another major component here is you don't have to worry about weather. You're not as beholden to those weather events and being able to knock out your entire business.
Would you mind reminding me what the costs were of just the initial setup, if that's still the model?
And so that is my end goal. And I based off of the feedback that I got on pitch day, I have come up with a slightly smaller proof of concept scale. The model itself, for $300,000, you would get the automated greenhouse, you would get all of the hydroponic infrastructure and equipment that is needed. That would be even a small metal building for like a head house and packaging and retail location, and an insulated trailer to do deliveries. $300,000 would get you all in. It would get you operating expenses for this first 6 months, and I mean, conservative projections are being able to profit somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 a month after you're up and running. So that's where we are.
I'll let Ruth Ellen talk now. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think I could go a few different directions, but it sounds replicable. So I don't know if your plan is to talk with other possible farmers or folks that may have an interest who are in food deserts, but how to maybe make that work in other places. But you were talking before. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Please go.
We were talking a little bit before we started recording about some future plans that you have, and I'd be curious if you could share a little bit more about what's happened since you pitched, and what resources have you found, and where are you headed?
Thank you. Well, I've honestly been leveraging a lot on the ChatGPT side of things to kind of help. Now, one thing I've noticed with AI is it has the tendency where it can remove critical thought from the equation, right? You can just trust anything it says. What I found is, like, I've been studying this model and other farming models for, like I say, over a decade now. So I have a pretty good base understanding of what is possible and not. And what ChatGPT specifically has helped me do is, all right, here's my main model. How can we make it smaller? Okay, now if we focus on one crop versus another crop, what's potential and things like that. And kind of where I landed on is I could do a seasonal operation, and which is what I will do next spring to actually be able to get this up and running. For about $20,000, I can get a small greenhouse. It's only 21 feet wide by 60 feet long. I can get I have to go to a different type of hydroponics, which would be deep water culture instead of the NFT system, just because it's a little bit more conducive to that 21-foot width instead of I need 30 feet in order to do NFT. So with that model, I can sell June through October and generate about $25,000 conservatively is what it's showing. And so, yeah, I was able to take the full scale model is about an 18 to 24 month return on the investment, and this should be returned in about 6 months. So that is going to be my path forward. Yeah, if I can win the final pitch and get the $10,000, that would essentially fund everything, right? But
That's
if not,
awesome.
I figured out a way already to make it happen regardless. So yeah, it's exciting.
So related to my earlier thought, is there really to your knowledge, like not a lot of lending specifics to farming, right? That's there's not a lot of help out there, right?
There's not a lot of help for new farmers.
Okay.
There's a lot of help for what the government agencies and different groups that do have funding available for farmers. They say new farmers are farmers that have been farming for 1 to 15 years or something, and so you have to be a farmer in order to get help as a farmer is what it comes down to. And so outside of the government and outside of some of private lending, what I see more than anything is essentially the lease tone on the equipment, which is just kind of an awful, almost like a credit card rate of what financing would be for some of the equipment. So you can lease tone the equipment in a variety of ways, but I have not been lucky enough to really find a more traditional path to lending without a proof of concept, which is why I've kind of pivoted to that, because not everyone, many people are doing this type of business in other parts of the country. No one's doing it in Northern Arizona. And so I'm not reinventing any type of technology or trying to proof a new product or a new market or anything. It's just proving that I have the organizational skills to execute on the plan.
That's awesome. What would you say your original why was?
As a kid, I had gardens, and I kind of just did. I don't know why. Like no one that I knew did that or anything, and I'm like the 7th grader winning the big awards at the fairs and stuff for my produce. And I love growing things. Like I look at it as a form of creation. Like I would consider artists creators. They're giving something to the world, to humanity. And I'm not an artist. That wouldn't be a gift for anyone. So, but I do think something like this is something that I can create and provide to our community.
That's awesome, man. And I'm gonna rephrase this one, since you're not quite up and selling vegetables yet, or your leafy greens yet. How would somebody reach you to make an investment in what it is you're trying to do? Like if somebody's watching this video and they have a check they want to write to you, how do they get to you?
So we do have Hometown Fresh on social medias, and the email address that just popped up, me@michaeldlindsey.com is my direct line. We are on Facebook of Hometown Fresh. We have the domain, and we have a website coming up too, which will have contact forms and things here before the pitch competition in October. But me@michaeldlindsey.com is the best way to reach me.
Awesome.
Are you ready for your pitch, Michael? Feeling ready?
Yeah, I'm getting excited. June and July were very, very crazy months for me, and I almost didn't pitch, and even tried to tell the local county guy that I couldn't do it. And I'm so glad that I did, and I'm getting to do this. And now I'm finally school started today. And so I'm finally back in this mode where I get to devote every second of my free waking energy to this plan. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Hopefully this is not telling on you, but yeah, he had to work too as well through all this stuff. Yeah.
That's the good benefit of working remotely like I do, is I can there's a little bit of flexibility there. We'll say it that way.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to see what you pitch at the finals. We're thrilled to have you on the stage again. And I don't know, Ruth Ellen, I need a salad all of a sudden.
Right? I know, fresh food, right? It's really exciting. And as long as I've been in this this kind of space of economic development, the talk of rural Arizona is always this food desert issue. So I can see why you came out on top, Michael, and I'm sure glad, as you are probably, that you pitched, because
yes,
this is a big need across the state. And again, I see it as something that can be replicated, and maybe your knowledge and skill can be passed along to other people. So congratulations on your first step forward. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you in October.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again, Michael. We appreciate it. Thanks for trusting us, and thanks for trusting us and letting us be a part of this journey. So, yeah.
Great. See you, Michael.
Okay.
All right. Any final thoughts here, Scott? Why don't you go ahead and just talk a little bit about the finals, since we haven't done that yet.
No, we haven't. And this year we're actually doing the finals a little different. So this might even be news to Michael. Hopefully in the next week or so, we're going to be rolling out the entire agenda for all of our pitch participants and those who want to attend. But because we have 20 pitch finalists this year, and because we're doing it on a Saturday, which is kind of a unique as well, on October 18th, we're going to ask our pitch finalists to get in earlier that day. And we're going to have a semifinalist panel that will listen to all 20 pitches. And then once the banquet or the big event starts that evening around 5 o'clock, we're going to we're only going to call 8 companies to perform on the main stage that evening, but no one knows which 8. Only the semifinalists.
Only special people will know.
Only the semifinalists will know who the 8 are going to be called to the main stage. And so those 8 will be called. Those pitchers will walk up to the stage. Their decks will already be preloaded if they have a deck, and they will pitch for their 5 minutes. The 8 that are pitching will pitch for a $10,000 first prize or a crowd favorite determined by the audience's smartphone of $5,000. And then, because we have eliminated, we have 3 additional $1,000 prizes that we'll be offering to people who didn't make it to the main stage. And I'm going to call it, for the lack of a better word, it's actually being sponsored by Hustle, a new online banking entity. And so we're going to call it the Hustle Awards. But essentially, we want to make sure those people keep going. You know, there's something about their business model. Yeah, they might not be ready for the main stage of that night, but they've got something, and we want to reward them for that, or award them for that, rather. So that's exactly what we're looking at. We're going to be selling tickets. It's going to be a fun event. We're going to have live music, and surely, if you want to come and just be inspired, it's a good place to start.
It is. It's a great, inspiring event, and it will be held in Prescott, Arizona this year. Very centralized when you're thinking about the state of Arizona. So we hope you all will join us there.
For sure.
All right. Well, yes. Thank you, Michael. And to all those who are still viewing our video, stay tuned for more entrepreneur spotlights coming your way over the next few weeks. And Scott, always good to see you.
You as well. Bye-bye.